Welcome back to the Law Show. I'm attorney Brian Dailey, broadcasting live from high atop the Law Show studios in the undisputed automobile capital of the world. You call it Motown. We sometimes call it Detroit, but I like it Motown too. We are talking with Bridget McCormack. She is a 2012 candidate for the Michigan Supreme Court. She is a professor at the University of Michigan, Go Blue Law School. And we're talking to her all about the Michigan Supreme Court, her desire to be on the Supreme Court, why she's desiring to be on the Supreme Court, her background, and all this other stuff. And one of the things I wanted to start out with is about how to vote for Supreme Court.
Yeah.
In other words, I hear this thing about it's a nonpartisan ballot, and if I go in and vote a straight Democrat ticket or a straight Republican ticket, am I going to vote for the Supreme Court?
Exactly, and this is actually turns out to be one of the biggest issues in this campaign is just teaching people how to vote for their Supreme Court justices. When you show up to vote, if you vote the straight party ticket, you have cast no ballot for your state Supreme Court justices. Some people still don't know that. They think they've been voting for the state Supreme Court justices of their party for their entire life, and they, in fact, have never voted. The drop-off rate from the top of the ticket to the nonpartisan section, where the state Supreme Court candidates like myself are found, is sometimes as high as 38%. An awful lot of people are casting no ballot. So you really need to actually specifically go to the nonpartisan section. You have to find the bubble next to the candidate's name you want to vote for, and you have to fill it in. That's the only way to do it.
So sometimes we actually have to turn the ballots over and look at the bottom.
Yeah.
We have to look at the bottoms, look at the sides. Don't leave any bubble unfilled out. You want to make sure and fill out all those bubbles. There's sample ballots on the internet you can take a look at. You can go to your clerk, your city clerk, and I'm sure that they have a sample ballot you can take a look at. There may be even still time to get an absentee ballot. I'm not sure about that, really, to be honest with you.
Yeah, you can. You can show up and get an absentee ballot. Absolutely.
But make sure that you vote for the Supreme Court. And, in fact, make sure you vote for all the courts because they're all nonpartisan. The circuit courts, the district courts, the probate courts, the Court of Appeals, the Supreme Court. And you want to make sure and include your vote and make sure that your vote is counted. So here's the $64 question, Bridget. Why is it that the people should vote for you for Michigan Supreme Court? What is it you're going to bring to them that they'll know that they've got a fair, honest, intellectually honest, studious, wonderful Supreme Court justice who is going to not necessarily rule in their favor, but always give them clarity and daylight as to the reasons for the decisions made, and a confidence, I mean a true confidence, as confident as people are that they live in Michigan, that they have a Supreme Court that is not partisan, that is not biased in one way or another.
Yeah, that's exactly the reason I'm running, Brian, so I hope people have heard that throughout this show. I've been teaching law students now for 16 years that's what matters more than anything, is that our court system follows the rule of law and not politics, because that is the way that everybody is guaranteed to get a fair shake in our courts. That is the way our public is protected by our court, and that is exactly why I'm running. That is my only platform, really. I want to make sure our Supreme Court follows the rule of law, not politics, so that everybody gets a fair shake.
So what should people do when they're listening to these ads? And I understand that there have been some ads that have been funded and produced by people that aren't even from Michigan. Can you address that?
Yeah, this is one of the main things that has to change in this process going forward. Right now, both the partisanship in our process, in our election process, is a big problem in my view. It undermines an independent court. But more than that, the funding that pours in, and the funders are not identified for negative ads against perfectly qualified candidates. There is $1 million being spent by some unnamed set of funders out of state to produce negative ads. So I would say to people, turn your TVs off, ignore the ads, and go do your homework. Find out who's endorsed these folks, read the questionnaires, figure out what you can about these candidates and their true qualifications, and make good decisions.
Well, thank you very much for showing up and being here today, and we really have enjoyed speaking with you about your Supreme Court candidacy. We look forward to you winning your candidacy and being a member of the Michigan Supreme Court, and I'm going to be watching very carefully, and hopefully you'll come back and talk to us about what it's actually like to be on the Supreme Court when you win. I am Brian Dailey. I'm broadcasting live from high atop the Law Show studios in the windy, in the undisputed Motor City of the world, motor capital of the world, Motown. We call it Detroit. You may call it Motown. We will be broadcasting live next week, Sunday at 11 a.m., and I want to thank you all for listening. And just so everybody knows, we were fair. We invited every Supreme Court candidate to come on. The only three that showed up were Connie Marie Kelly, Bridget McCormack, and Sheila Johnson, and for that reason, and not just those reasons, they get our endorsement. So if you want the Law Show and Brian Dailey's endorsement for Michigan Supreme Court candidates for 2012, vote for Connie Marie Kelly, Bridget McCormack, and Sheila Johnson. Make sure you vote that nonpartisan ballot. Don't listen to all the negative ads, and go to the website, thelawshow.com. We have an entire page dedicated to the Michigan Supreme Court, and we discuss all of the candidates on there and why you should vote for them and why you should vote against some of them. And so thank you so much, Judge. I'm sorry. I guess I'm predicting the future. Thank you so much, Bridget, for showing up with us today and talking with us to our listeners, and hopefully you'll come back again.
Yeah, I absolutely will, and thank you for the opportunity. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. Good luck.
Thanks.